Vettel gets the undercut. Will he maintain P3? There's a bit of wheel banging between Turner and Vettel. Hello everybody and welcome to the WTF1 alternative commentary for the Race All-Star Legends Trophy. And of course, alongside me, my partner in crime throughout this entire series is Tom Bellingham. Tom, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this again. We've got an exciting lineup, which you're going to be very happy about.
Lovely tee up there as Jenson Button is on pole position once again for this first race around Malaysia. But we have a very special guest joining this series, and he goes by the name of Sebastian Vettel. Tommy, how do you feel about a Ferrari, a four-time world champion and Ferrari driver, joining the ranks of this field?
Yeah, incredible scenes. I was speaking to the guys from the race, and they said that he was just doing the practice lobbies, wasn't going to take part, and then 20 minutes before the race just sent him a text message and said, you know what, let's go for it. So what a guy. 15th on the grid behind Emerson Fittipaldi. I don't believe... Well, I don't know. Is Emerson quicker than Sebastian? We'll find out in the race very shortly. Max Papis bringing up the grid in 20th place, just behind Jason Plato, and then actually one more, Adrian Fernandez. Here we go then. Do we see the lights this time out for the 8 laps around Malaysia? Oh, there's a jump start already from what looks like Frank Kitty. What's that? Yeah.
And we go away, away we go down towards turn 1 for this 8-lap race around Malaysia. Great to see this track as Button and Pirro go side by side into turn 1. That blank name, I don't actually know who that is because Montoya is usually the one, and they're all jostling for position, very close indeed through this ever-tightening second corner, and that's a big collision between what looks like the front 3. Button's involved, and I don't know who's in the lead, Tommy, it doesn't say.
I don't know who is leading, but yeah, Jenson Button is all the way back down the field, and he's going to have some kind of epic recovery drive to get back up the front where we normally see him.
It looks like it's 3 wide as well, going towards turn number 4, I believe, as Montoya takes the lead, and whoever that was leading is now not leading.
It's Prio. It's down. Andy Prio with the nameless
Andy
driver.
Prio.
There you go.
Perfect. You would think they would have learnt by now, and that's a lot of side-by-side action through that left-hander, but it's Juan Pablo Montoya out in the lead once again, ahead of Helio Castroneves, and there's another spinner there, and it's a little bit of carnage, Tommy, more just pirouettes than actual full-on upside down, but still lots of jostling for position.
Piro by name, pirouette by nature.
You've already used that once. You
can't
use that.
It's his nickname now. So
here we go. I'm going to recycle my joke. There's Michael Jordan in the Michel Jordan. But unfortunate for Andy Prio there, who was leading the race, and then we didn't actually see the incident. Hopefully we'll get a replay. But I think Montoya, Castroneves and Prio were all very close going into turn number 4. And here we are, Michel Jordan in P number 5, which I think it's a personal best for him, although he's very slow through that right-hander. And Solberg, who was part of the F1 Virtual GP as well. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. Who was that? That's Castroneves from P2. So lots of mistakes happening on a track, Tommy, that I think is actually quite forgiving.
Yeah, it's a very wide track. It's a Tilkedrome, but one of his best, I must say. I very much miss this track in Formula 1.
Brabham BT 44B being raced in this particular event. Sebastian Vettel down in P18. I think he was involved in some instance as well on lap 1. And unfortunately for him, going around the final corner towards the back of the field. But you would imagine...
Send.
Oh, what a send. Who was that?
Jan Magnussen. With the send of all sends.
I was concentrating on Vettel, so nicely done there, Tommy. A move on Michel Jordan for P5. Magnussen, one of the regulars at the front of the field, and you'd imagine it won't take him too long to get past Petter Solberg, who won that reverse grid race, didn't he? No, he didn't. Oh, no, he did. He did, but he didn't. It was very strange, wasn't it, around the Nürburgring, where he got taken out but still won the race.
Yeah, very strange incident. Speaking of people that were taken out, Jenson Button is somehow in P8 after being dead last at turn 1. So he's coming through the field already. Obviously, we know how quick he is, but still very impressive to be P8 already.
Jenson Button needs to be nerfed, I think, will be the calls from a lot of people on social media soon with how quick he is around this particular game and platform, which is R Factor, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Tommy?
It is indeed R Factor 2.
There you go, R Factor 2. Petter Solberg and Jan Magnussen going wheel to wheel. Oh, and Magnus has lost it on the curb. It just shows how difficult these cars are to drive under traction. Even with those huge rear wheels, you can still lose it on acceleration, and Magnussen has dropped all the way down to P12. We've seen quite a few mistakes, I think, from Magnussen over the course of our WTF1 alternative commentaries, where he'd be, just flying up the field, but then he'll just have an instant or get involved in some sort of mistake. And unfortunately for him, down to P13 now as Franchitti has overtaken him for P12. Here we are, Jenson Button, just behind the former F1 driver, Thiago Monteiro, who is pulling a move himself on Michel Jourdain going towards the last corner. This could get spicy if Button gets involved as well. Thinks better of it. You just see how little aero these cars have on the front. You just have to wait for ages to get the car turned in.
Yeah, Jenson Button is a lot more sensible maybe than the other drivers, thinking twice about moves, not going lunging in. Speaking of lunging in, here we go, Liuzzi.
Oh, Liuzzi, good move into
Great
turn
move,
1.
though.
Parks the car on the apex, and Solberg can do absolutely nothing than just give up his P3. And that's another spinner there. That's David Brabham getting caught up with Pirro, it seems there. So lots of spins happening, which clearly this track is not suiting the Brabham BT44B as well as maybe other tracks which look more difficult to drive, but I don't think we've seen as many spins as we have in this race. Darren
Turner there. Any interesting facts about Darren Turner, Matt?
He owns his own simulator company. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it or not, but he's doing well up in P9. I would still expect a top 5 from someone who owns his own simulator. Tommy, any random facts from you about Malaysia, about any of the drivers? Just drop it for me. Give me a key fact.
Okay, seeing as though I've just seen that Vettel is in a battle with Mika Salo. Mika Salo is actually the last Formula 1 driver in history to do an entire Formula 1 race without pitting.
Wow, there you go. And no one will be pitting, hopefully for their sakes, in this 8-lap race. There's very little damage, I think, on. There is still some cosmetic damage as far as I'm aware, but I don't think it's on complete, full, 100% race-ending nature of damage. Vettel still P17 at the moment, and he's 9 seconds behind Mika Salo as we see a battle here for P2. Jason Plato, Antonio Liuzzi and Petter Solberg. And it looks like Liuzzi got a fantastic run going towards the final corner now. Takes it to the inside line. Surely this will be an easy move. Liuzzi very confident on the brakes on his last move. But not so confident this time round. But I think that was more just overconfidence from Plato, who ran very wide indeed. Can he get a good exit?
Solberg's looks got them both.
Yeah, Plato's getting involved. And there we could have a very interesting battle going towards turn 1 as we start lap 4 of 8. We're halfway through this race. Montoya 7 seconds down the road. 3 cars fighting for P2 into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? It's Tonio Liuzzi at the moment, but Solberg has the inside line, now has the outside line. Oh no, that looks like Plato getting very involved there as well. And Liuzzi comes out on top.
Liuzzi, incredible move there. The reverse Zonta, if anyone understands that reference.
The reverse Zonta. Nice. Like that. We're not racing round Spa this time, though, are we? As Solberg looks to the inside slightly there on Plato. They could go side by side through this long left-hander. Surely Plato will have this position with the racing line. But no! Solberg all the way round the outside, using maybe his rallying experience there to just drift it round. But up to P3, but doesn't get a good exit. And Plato now trying to have a look into this double right-hander. Surely not. Very squirmy into the first right. And oh no, Solberg's now run off the track completely. And now Jenson Button's come out of nowhere and says, thank you very much. I'll take that podium place.
I did another commentator's curse there. In my own mind, I was just about to say Solberg for me is impressed me a lot. He wasn't particularly fast in the last race, even though he obviously had the reverse grid, but he was right on the pace now. But as soon as I thought that, he went straight into the gravel.
Jenson Button up to P3. Can he close in on Liuzzi before the end of the race? You would think so. It's only 2 seconds or so separating them. We now watch Monteiro all over the back of Plato. Great racing. We've had loads of spins, loads of mistakes, but now we're just having some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing. Very much have missed this Sepang International Circuit. It is International Circuit, isn't it, Tommy? Is that what it's known as?
It is. Incredible track. Absolutely love it.
Very sad that it's been missing from the Formula 1 calendar for how many years now, Tommy?
Ooh.
Oh no, that's a collision. I think, anyway, Monteiro getting caught up. I'm not really sure what happened there. We didn't get an on board, but he was just mounting the inside curve on the grass. But yeah, Tommy, how many years have we not raced here?
I think a couple now. Maybe 20.
I guess 2016 was maybe the last time when Hamilton blew up, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Darren Turner, simulator company owner, right behind Jan Magnussen, who has done a good recovery drive once again. He dropped down to P13. but he has the pace to sift his way through the field. Here we have a replay of the start, Tommy, and can you let's take us through it. So this is Franchitti having a jump start, and then we dive towards turn 1.
Franchitti went on probably the third light there. Not the greatest.
Maybe he couldn't see the lights, like I've never been able to see the lights for these starts of these races. But either way, we continue. 3 laps to go, and Darren Turner still trying to close in on Magnussen, but you'd imagine Magnussen's going to be closing in on Solberg, if anything, who made that mistake, dropping down from P2 all the way down to P7. Liuzzi now 8 seconds behind Montoya. Button 1.5, so closing in. Maybe not as quickly as I expected, but by the end of the race, if there's no mistakes by those two, Button should be right on that rear diffuser. There's Sebastian Vettel, P17. You have to give it to him. Obviously, he's not going to turn up and be El Rapido, is he? He's going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. He's only just had his simulator delivered, but for me, I just love the fact that Sebastian Vettel, who you could, I reckon sort of younger social media people will be like, maybe thinking he's a boomer. If that's the right term, where he's like an old man and not getting involved with these things. But Vettel, very much getting stuck in.
Yeah, and he's making a move on Emerson Fittipaldi there. Who'd have thought in lockdown we'd be watching Sebastian Vettel versus Emerson Fittipaldi? What a sentence that is.
Amazing stuff. Of course, Fittipaldi, still amazing that he is turning up week in, week out to race in this series. It really is very awesome to see.
And
but
Sebastian,
Vettel up to P16.
Yeah, Sebastian Vettel loves these kind of cars. He's very much a huge fan of the history of Formula One. He's extremely passionate, or a fanboy, whichever you prefer. And Sebastian loves his history, and he will be absolutely loving the fact that he gets to race against people like Emerson Fittipaldi.
Maybe we'll get to see, because we had some cameras last time out, maybe in the future, if Vettel continues, we'll be able to see him in his own simulator at home. But I know that Vettel is quite a private man and doesn't like to show off too much, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. Jason Plato and Thiago Monteiro only 0.2 of a second apart, and there we have it.
Great battles on this track. We're having a lot of good racing, and you can actually overtake. It's not close because you can't overtake. It's close and really good battles.
There you go. That's a move by Monteiro on Plato. Will Plato try and have a go back? It does. Maybe just dipping a wheel on the gravel there. And that's given Plato and also Magnussen a chance down the inside. Magnussen trying to have 2 in 1. Oh, there's collision between all 3 of them. Solberg now joins the fight, as does Turner. And we have a 5-way scrap for P5. Magnussen's come out on top. There's no stewards here today. They're having a week off / the entire series off. But either way, Magnussen up to P5, Plato P6, Solberg getting a position or 2 from that as well. You can just see the squirm, the slide, as these cars are so difficult to handle. And almost takes out Plato and takes a much wider line, which is quite interesting. That penultimate corner I've always found.
Jenson Button is going round the outside of Liuzzi for P2. You just see it in the top corner there.
Very good shout, top right hand side of your screen. Button now in the slipstream of Liuzzi. Hopefully we get a full screen of that very shortly. Button going to pull to the inside. Liuzzi doesn't cover it, but maybe Liuzzi on the outside line. It could work for him if he can just swing it all the way around turn 1 and then have the inside for turn 2. But Button with the confidence up the inside. A previous race winner, of course, in this series. And we could have 4 wide into turn 1 here. Oh my goodness me. Solberg and Monteiro getting very, very close and personal. And we've got Magnussen just down the road as well. He's not involved in this fight. Solberg P6. Monteiro now up to P7. Plato losing a position or 2. Turner just watching the action unfold in P9. But great action. You can see the slipstream effects clearly working. But great to see as Turner goes up the inside for P8 now. And these guys are swapping positions lap after lap.
It's like watching the World Rallycross Championship with Petter Solberg up ahead drifting his car around the corners while we've got a 4-car scrap. Incredible stuff.
It's great to see. Absolutely great to see. I'll just finish my point about the penultimate corner. You can take so many different lines through that corner. You can take it very wide and then swing onto the curb, or you can take a tighter line. And that's what I love about these kind of tracks, where there's much more than one line that you can take. And here we go, Monteiro on Solberg. Solberg, has he managed to hit the apex? No, he's washed out slightly, and that's given Monteiro a great opportunity to take P6. Where is Solberg and Monteiro? Solberg up to P6 there. Monteiro just going in a little bit too hot, and Solberg managing to retain P6. There's a yellow in Sector 3 as Turner now loses another position and drops down to P10. And Franchitti and himself, I think, are fighting. And Prio, who is that blank name, has now jumped up to P6, so P10. Sorry. So I imagine Turner may have had some sort of incident.
Not what you expect from someone with their own simulator company, is it?
He's down to P13 now. That is quite sad to see. Still no particular movements from Vettel. Can't see him on the leaderboard just yet as the battle rages on between Solberg and Montero. Here we have a replay. Look at the slide on this. Plato has taken in about 20 miles an hour too much into that right-hander, and he is drifting. You'd imagine that from Solberg, not Plato.
Yeah, it looks a lot more touring car-esque than F1, I guess.
That's true. As here we see...
switchback McGee, here we go. I love this track. Those first two corners, like you say, you can take different lines, and it just provides incredible overtaking opportunities.
Will we see another one? Montero looks to the inside. Solberg a little bit later on the brakes, but Montero trails in with a bit more speed. Will he get the better exit? Solberg slightly hindered there, but he's got the inside line for this pretty much single file left-hander, but surely not. Montero can't get through this time. There's only one way through there. And look at the slides they've got going still. It's awesome to see.
Incredible racing. I just can't get over what a race we've been treated to here. And I can't believe it's the last lap already. I didn't even notice. Absolutely flown by. It's the last lap. And Pirro is right behind Liuzzi for the final podium position. Button's a little bit safer down the road. Montoya has absolutely dominated this race. But we take a look for the final podium position. Can Pirro? Oh no, he dips a wheel onto the gravel. Can he get it slowed down with the gravel on his tyres? He can indeed. He's going to have a great run. He's got a very wide line. He's going to have a great run down this final corner.
In the slipstream, can he make a move for P3 on the final lap? Which line is he going to take? He goes to the inside. Pirro tries to defend it, but Liuzzi, now goes to the outside. The racing line into that last corner. We won't see that for now as Montoya comes over the line to absolutely dominate here. And who is going to come in P3?
That's
it's
Liuzzi
Pirro.
Off. Liuzzi obviously got sent round.
There's been some sort of contact there between Pirro and Liuzzi. And Tommy, unfortunately, you can't use your joke this time because it wasn't Pirro pirouetting. It was Liuzzi.
It was Liuzzi-etting. Doesn't work, does it?
I think you should stick to the day job.
Yeah, definitely. Stick to the day job of writing jokes on the internet.
Yes, yeah. Sebastian Vettel, P15 in the end it looks like. We watch Montero and Jordan come over the line.
Here comes Vettel across the line now.
And unfortunately Vettel, well, he had a pretty poor race there, but, he's just getting the hang of it, and he'll be nearer the front for the reverse grid race, which we will be treated to very shortly. But Montoya from Button, that's going to be interesting to see those two come through the field from the back of the grid. We've already seen some amazing performances from those two in the reverse grid races. And there is Emerson Fittipaldi coming over the line in P18. So there you go. Montoya from Button from Pirro, the top three. Then Magnussen finishing in P4 after dropping to 13th at the start of that race. Liuzzi, Solberg, Franchitti, Plato, Prio and Brabham, your top 10. Tommy, that was great racing. Maybe I wouldn't label it as carnage. I would have just labelled it as people making mistakes and spinning, as we've mentioned before. But I reckon this reverse grid race coming up is going to be the complete opposite, and it's going to be more carnage and probably actually more mistakes as well. So maybe not completely reversed. Exactly.
I'm very excited to see what it's going to be like with Sebastian Vettel at the front of the pack as well.
We'll find out very soon. There you go. There's the second page, and we will tune in to the reverse grid race right now. Hello everybody and welcome to the second race of this WTF1 alternative commentary for the race All-Star Legends Trophy. And here is the grid. It should be a spicy one. We're racing around Malaysia. Tommy, you're alongside me once again, of course. I wouldn't let you leave after the first race where it was scintillating action. And we've got, of course, if people haven't for some reason watched the first race and are only here for the second, and you've accidentally clicked a timestamp in the middle of the video, we have Sebastian Vettel, P7 on the grid. That is the real Formula 1 driver, and we should have some great racing, Tommy.
Yep, all real drivers, and we do surprisingly get the question sometimes going, is these the actual people? No, we haven't set up an AI race and put in random names. These are the real drivers going at it on a simulator and R Factor 2. It's absolutely awesome to see.
It's great to see. I hope everybody is staying safe in these very testing times. and this is something good that's come out of a bad situation. I'm loving all the F1 and just general motorsport series that are happening, and hopefully when everything gets back to normal, it won't be the end of it. But here we are on the grid, lap 1 of 8. We're about to begin. Here we go then. The lights are out and away we go. Fernandez from pole position gets a pretty decent start, and Papis closing in, it has to be said, going towards turn 1. There's a crash in the background, and someone not upside down this time though, Tommy, as we go towards turn 1. Sebastian Vettel P7, I'll make that P4 as there's 3 cars colliding in turn 1. I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe Liuzzi was one of them, but then he was probably a little bit further down the grid. It was an orange car either way. Sebastian Vettel up to 4th.
It was Liuzzi getting T-boned by, I think, Mika Salo as well. And, Prio going off, trying to catch Vettel.
Oh, Prio coming back across the track, somehow not collecting anybody with him. And he is now safely onto the gravel. Nobody else getting collected. Sebastian Vettel up to P4. What can he achieve in this second race with these Brabham BT44Bs? They are the most difficult cars to drive. You see it every time we ride on board with them. And another thing we need to mention, Jenson Button already up to P9 with Montoya, his closest rival in the last race. Well, he actually won it in P10.
They really are a cut above in this series, aren't they? Montoya and Button, just incredible driving. And Vettel's up to P3 there. Someone must have gone off.
Up to P3 as Turner made a mistake and now tries to get it back. Vettel gets the undercut. Will he maintain P3? There's a bit of wheel banging between Turner and Vettel. Still very weird to say this out loud, but Vettel has to give up P3 for now. But does he get the nice exit? He does indeed. But he gets a bit squirmy, and that's allowed Solberg up the inside. So Vettel now down to P5. Magnussen and Button right behind him as well. So this is not over for Vettel. He needs to now defend rather than attack, but he gets a squirm on. What's going to end there? Jenson Button smashes into the back of Magnussen. I think Vettel's been involved in the contact as well. He has, and he drops down the field. Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. He was right up there getting in the mix. It was great to see him. There he is, getting back on the track. I'm not sure if he spun on his own accord or he was punted by Jenson. And Jenson's been punted
Jenson's
again.
round as well. Jenson at the final corner getting he's had a couple of collisions in a couple of corners. That's who is that? That's Papis? I'm not really sure. Or Jordan?
Liuzzi.
No, it's Papis. Jordan's somewhere else in that fight. So Papis has just got ahead. And Jenson Button now up the inside into turn 1 to try and get back that 9th place. But Button has had a messy first lap. And, well, if there were penalties being handed out, I think the one where he crashed into the back of Magnussen would have been one the stewards would have taken a look at. And here we are, Max Papis in 13th now. So maybe it was Liuzzi he was fighting. Yeah, it was.
You absolutely called it with the reverse grid. We didn't get too much carnage and crashing in this one, but this one, definitely. Chaos.
Lots of people trying to make up loads of positions. Fernandez, though, out in front, 1.7 seconds ahead of Plato. And Darren Turner, P3, Simulator Company.
Solberg as
That's
well
all I
has got
have to
into
say.
P4. He was way down the grid because he finished 6th in the last race. Really impressed by Solberg.
Solberg's had a fantastic start as well, as you say, Tommy. Very well pointed out. Vettel's up to P16, I've just seen. Yellow in Sector 2. Not sure who that is. It's been cleared now, so whoever it was is back up to speed. But Fernandez, very comfortable out in front as we take a look at Franchitti and Dominguez. Yellow in Sector 2. Lots of yellow flags being flown out at the moment. But how is Montoya? So Montoya's ahead of Button now after that incident. Montoya a second behind Pirro. It'll be interesting to track his progress. Someone in the background has made a big mistake. That's Plato, who's made a huge error at that penultimate corner, and it is a very difficult one to get right, as he has now proved. And that promotes Turner up to P2 and Solberg P3.
Incredible from Solberg. Yeah, Plato running P2. That corner is a difficult one to get right. It's a very strange apex, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, you can never really spot your turning point properly. Let's have a look. Does he squirm onto the... he just completely loses it. I thought he may have dipped a wheel on the gravel, but instead Plato just took a bit too much speed in and then couldn't rally his way round that penultimate corner. And now he is locked into a battle in that midfield. And here's Fernandez. I mentioned he's doing pretty well. He is gapping the rest of the field. And it just shows the amount of carnage that happens up and down the field in these races. If you just get a bit of clear air, you just compose yourself a bit better and set some pretty blistering lap times. Because Fernandez, we didn't really put him down as a guy that's particularly quick or has made any hugely impressive performances.
Interesting to see how Montoya and Button make their way through the field, because they're 10 seconds and they've got 5 laps to go. I reckon they could still do it. Definitely P2 is on the cards.
Yeah, P2 definitely on the cards for Montoya and Button, but it just depends how quickly they get through. And don't forget Magnussen as well, up in P5, very quick in this series, just behind Servier and then Solberg, who I've been rather impressed with. I feel like he's getting much quicker. It's taken him a few races to get to the grips of a completely different car to what he's used to driving. And you can tell when he was doing the F1 Virtual GP that he absolutely loves doing this sort of stuff, and he kind of admits that he's not the quickest and he doesn't have enough time to be the quickest, but he's getting involved with it, and it's great to see. Up in a podium position at the moment. We're taking a look at Pirro just behind Magnussen, who we can see in the top right hand side of your screen. Surely Magnussen's going to get through on Servier soon, or have a collision. It's one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Magnussen, much like Kevin, he's not afraid to go for it as he pulls alongside, but thinks better of it. Proved me wrong there.
Maybe he's learnt from the incident he had in the last race, but he should get a pretty good exit starting the next lap and down towards turn 1. There it is. Pulls to the racing line, the outside line, which will be the inside line for turn 2. Depends how brave you are on the brakes. Here we go. Magnussen versus Servier into turn 1. Servier, a little bit of a collision, and Magnussen's been hit, gone a bit wide, and that's promoted Pirro up to P5. And Magnussen, has he dropped down behind Montoya as well? No, just ahead. So Magnussen P6. No, Montoya's now got through. So P6 for Juan Pablo. And that, well, Servier, he wanted to stick his nose in, and that unfortunately unsettled Magnussen, who's now dropped to P9, make that P10.
Servier was not having any of it, was he? Just blocked him off.
Quite rude driving, getting your elbows out. Here's Sebastian Vettel up to P12 now.
Nice.
Closing in on Dominguez.
Yeah, made his way through a few people. Obviously, maybe had some incidents, and he's finding his feet a bit with this now.
Definitely, it's going to take him a while. He's not, a sim racer or anything like that. He's only just got a simulator sorted, and it takes a hell of a long time. If it's anything like my experiences are, I'm never quick when I just jump on one. Well, I mean, he's learnt one thing, which is corner cutting in sim racing. So at least Vettel's maybe he learnt a bit from the virtual GP, where everyone was track extending at China. But either way, Vettel lining up a move on Dominguez. Maybe not the fastest racing we've ever seen. It feels like maybe they're racing a bit slower than the guys at the front. But I think Vettel's just trying to keep it on the black stuff, as he's now up to P11. So he's ahead of Salo and Dominguez. And his next target, who I think he's going to struggle to catch, is Magnussen.
That's a bit of a stretch. Magnussen, a series veteran in this. Here's Solberg.
Oh, here we go then. Solberg and Turner. So we're halfway through this race. Fighting for P2. Has Solberg got a good exit? Looks like Turner might be safe into turn 1 this time, unless Solberg decides to send one up the inside. Let's have a look. Turner just goes slightly defensive and covers the inside line. Nice defending. We can see behind them Servier and Pirro side by side almost into turn 2. But no, Pirro just ahead of Servier. Montoya lurking in the background in P6. Maybe not making as much progress as we expected, Tommy.
No, I was just thinking that. He's not really ploughing through the field, but Solberg is right on the back of Turner as he's drifting round the corners. You said earlier about Solberg not being used to these cars, but maybe the fact that they're so slidey is actually playing to his advantage.
Suits him. Yeah, that's potentially right. Here's a replay. 4-time F1 World Champion, Sebastian Vettel. Nice and calm on the apex, sizing up his opponent, and then diving up the inside. You can't say that one of the things that Vettel has to be doing is learn the tracks, because that's something that he will know pretty well.
Yep, the famous multi-21, of course, happened at this track, so he's a race winner here.
Petter Solberg still trying to find a way past Darren Turner. You do make a good point about the sliding. Maybe it suits his driving style better. You can just see this how sideways he goes through those corners. It's brilliant to watch. And Turner still in P2. I think he'll be on course for his best result if he finishes there, as he's been involved in all kinds of incidents, which has been race-ending or race-ruining at least for him.
Turner is...
He just seems to get...
Turner is Fernandez's best friend at the moment. He seems to be holding this pack up, letting Fernandez get away.
Oh, that's a move from Pablo Montoya on Servio. Went a little bit deep, though. Can he get the run down towards turn 1? We've seen so many overtakes already. And Servio's already gone defensive. Where's Montoya in all of this? I imagine he'll pull to the left at some point. There he is. On the racing line. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It's Montoya. Has he slowed it down, though? Oh, it's going to be slow, so close into this next corner. Oh, a bit of wheel bagging. Montoya, you know, it's something that he is very much known for. He's not the most polite of drivers. He's someone that, if he wants the position, Tommy, he takes it.
That's why I love him.
He's great to watch. Absolutely great to watch.
Speaking of great to watch.
Yeah, what's also great to watch is Solberg versus Turner. Still carries on, and Pirro now joining this fray of cars. And maybe he can get onto the podium. P4 at the moment. Montoya 3 seconds behind. Doesn't look like he has the pace really to close in on these guys, but I say that now, he'll probably start pumping in some serious lap times. Button down in P8. Seems like he's been involved in maybe another incident, as he's fallen quite far back behind the likes of Montoya, Servia and Liuzzi. And oh, look how close Solberg gets to Turner. But the more he attacks and doesn't pull it off, Tommy, Pirro smells a chance to not pirouette, but to take a podium.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Petter Solberg needs to get by Turner very soon, otherwise he is going to be Pirroed.
Just a doing word now, is it, Pirro? Interesting that Pirro has kind of gone from, at least from, if my memory serves me correct, when we first started commentating on him, he didn't seem to really have too much pace, was involved in a lot of incidents, and there you go, there's a move for P3. Whereas now he seems to have improved a hell of a lot and is now fighting towards the front of the field. They're going to go side by side, are they, into the last corner? No, Solberg just ahead, but Pirro should get the exit he requires. He's in the slipstream now. Can he close in? Will he send it up the inside? Turner's breaking away and in fact closing in on Fernandez a little bit, although I think he's going to run out of laps. Solberg goes defensive into turn 1. Oh, no way is Pirro going to go all the way around the outside. Surely not. He'll have the inside line if he can make it stick. No. Solberg just covers the inside line but mounts the curb hard. Can Pirro get a good exit? It looks like he can. I'm sure he'll go to the inside line if he possibly can be shown that line. Will he make a move or does he follow? It doesn't look like he does. Oh, he does. He goes up the inside and takes P3. Can Solberg do anything? Yes, he can. He gets a great exit. Now, Tommy, they go side by side. No, they don't. Got a bit excited there. It looked like they were going to, but Solberg, P3, Pirro still trying to get through into those podium places.
That's peak Sepang first sector. That is switchback McGee in all the turns. Incredible stuff.
You're loving the McGees in this commentary. I love it. It's brilliant.
Spending too much time with you at the moment.
Yeah, you are. I haven't dropped a McGee yet, but yeah, I do say that word quite a lot. Lap 7 of 8 now. We're coming towards the end of this reverse grid race. Solberg goes in a bit hot into that left-hander, giving Pirro another little bit of an opportunity, a little sniff, potentially, of getting through. Look how hot he's gone into that next corner. Solberg just loves taking in too much speed so he can drift through every corner. Turner looks safe in P2 at the moment. And where's Montoya in all of this? 1.5 seconds back. Could he join this battle with only a few corners to go on the last lap? They're both really struggling with the tyres now.
Pirro's got a great run here. Surely this is the move.
Here we go. Solberg goes defensive. What will Pirro do differently this time that they're battling? Will he try and hang it round the outside or get the switchback? He goes for the switchback. McGee, as Tom has been saying, Pirro up to P3. Where's Solberg though? Can he get the run back on him? I have a feeling Solberg might try a move if his slides are anything to go by. Will he go to the inside? No, he takes the outside line. Pirro defensive. Looks pretty safe at the moment for P3. Nicely defended.
I thought he was going to lunge up the inside there, but thought better of it. Still, he could come back at him. Still, you never know.
Yeah, although it looks like Pirro's just got a bit of breathing space now. Turner will be slightly worried, but he's only got 2 sectors to go, so no mistake from him. and Pirro will not be able to pounce. Montoya 1.3 seconds behind Solberg. Button seems to be closing in on Liuzzi for P7. But the battle continues on for that final podium place. Surely Pirro's safe now, but anything can happen in this series.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen next. Sebastian Vettel's still doing... he's up in P12, so he's doing all right. He's got a big gap to 13th, so I think a lot of drivers have maybe made some mistakes and dropped way down the order. But
oh my goodness me, Solberg, that is late on the brakes. I'm not sure what he was trying to achieve with that, but whatever it was, he's now got Montoya. Well, he doesn't really. Montoya's still only 1.5 seconds back, so very surprised Juan Pablo hasn't joined this battle. But it looks like it's pretty set now for the front five. Servia looks like he's coming under some pressure from Liuzzi in these final few corners. But what a drive from Adrian Fernandez. You have to say it's been faultless from him, really. From the get-go, no one's really been able to get close to his pace. And it's great to see some other drivers getting the limelight in these reverse grid races.
yeah, exactly. Did everything he needed to do. Get a good reverse grid spot and avoid all the carnage.
And there he is over the line to take the victory in this reverse grid race. And Turner is going to come home just about ahead of Pirro. Must have made a mistake in those last few corners. Antonio Liuzzi just ahead of Button for P7. But wow, wow. Big collision at the end of the race there. But yeah, that was very... I love how even retired legends and even, you know, drivers that are still racing today, they all crash at the end of a lobby just like any other gamer.
Exactly. You've got to do it. You've got to do it, haven't you?
Absolutely. The last few drivers coming over the line now. Dominguez, P15. Vettel finishing in P12. And Emerson Fittipaldi, you can see there, P14. What a race. Yeah, this track has really delivered on the action, and it has to be said that a lot of these guys have improved even further than what they did last time, and I'm very impressed, Tommy.
Very impressed. Looking forward to the next one already to see how see if we get Vettel back, see how he improves. Now he's had some practice because he was getting the hang of it by the end of it.
Yep, fingers crossed we see four-time F1 World Champion back in our ranks amongst some amazing competitors. Still doesn't really get any more normal seeing all these guys race, but it's amazing to see. So thank you everybody for watching this WTF1 alternative commentary for the Race All-Star Legends Trophy. It's been an absolute pleasure being in the commentary box alongside you, of course, Tommy, and we'll be back next time very soon, next week I believe. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.